Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my entire face palette collection. I have a load of face palettes and I wanted to take you through all of the ones that I have, or what I like about them, what I've been enjoying, and also I think I'm going to do like a makeup collection series on my channel where I take you through each category of makeup and show you my collection of that particular type of product, and then at the end of the whole series I'll show you my entire makeup collection and like my whole setup all together. So the first category in this series is going to be face palettes. I'm going to start off with my oldest face palette over here, and this is actually the first makeup product that I bought that was like of higher end. This is the Too Faced Cocoa Contour palette, and I know they now have a newer version of this palette out. Once I finish panning this one entirely, I'm definitely going to purchase the new version just because I feel like the shades that are in the updated version of this palette are a little bit more usable. I will show you why in a second. So this is the palette. It comes with a really decent sized big mirror here, and I've gotten ready in this mirror so many times I feel like it's not like small and I'm not like peering into it. Sometimes mirrors can be like too small, or they have too many like designs around them and it becomes difficult to see in them, but it's a really decent mirror. This is the product inside. So you have one like lighter brightening shade, two bronzer contoury shades, and then this one here is one that I never use, and this is why I'm interested in the new version of this palette, because this shade here, I'm not sure if it's going to show up on camera. It looks like it's going to be like really usable, but it's like it's matte but it has shimmer through the product. So these three shades over here that I've hit pan on, all of these are all entirely matte. Up here we have a plain matte white like brightening shade, and this is really great underneath the eyes or on the forehead, on the high points of your face that you want to bring light to. And I really like these two bronzer shades here. This bottom one down here is called Dark Cocoa, and Dark Cocoa is a really like warm toned bronze, so if you want to have a really glowy look, that's really nice. And then this one over here called Medium Cocoa is really nice for like a contour look. I feel like if I chisel really carefully with that, I can create a really sculpted look. But this shade down here called Pop of Light I never reach for because it has this shimmer through it that makes it kind of unusable as like a setting powder or a brightening powder, because it has that shimmer through it, and it's not enough shimmer for it to become like a nice highlighter shade. Like I wouldn't use this to create like a glowy effect because it still is like matte yet has a shimmer through it. It's not like shimmery, it's just got like glittery pieces. So yeah, that's why I've panned all the other shades in this palette except for that one Pop of Light shade, which I never use. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this one. They've actually also come out with a darker version of this palette because this is kind of more geared towards lighter skin tones or medium skin tones. I do really like this palette, and I'm excited to get the like newer version of it when I finish off the shades that I enjoy from this. The next one in my collection is, I'm going to go into this palette. This is the Manizer Sisters palette from the Balm. I purchased this after I panned my Mary Lou Manizer. Mary Lou Manizer is the most gorgeous, really popular on YouTube actually, champagne shade. And it just looks like this. This is Mary Lou Manizer, and it also has Cindy Lou Manizer, which is like a pink highlighter kind of shade, and then this one over here, which is Betty Lou Manizer, and that's kind of a darker, kind of bronzier shade, but it's a highlighter color. So this would be really nice on darker skin tones, I think, because it's just like a darker highlight. But I don't use it for that. I use it as a really intense glowy bronzer, or sometimes when I'm fake tanned, I can use that as like a body highlight, which is really gorgeous because it doesn't look like too dark on my body when I'm fake tanned or when I am like naturally tanned. So it just like really blends into the skin well. I don't find this palette like awkward to use for my skin tone, but Mary Lou Manizer is definitely my favorite shade from this palette, just because it's the champagne-y shade. Whereas I don't really reach for pinky highlights as much. I still do get a fair bit of use out of Cindy Lou Manizer. It is a really beautiful shade, especially if I'm going for a more like pinky toned look. There's also a mirror on this palette, but it's not the best mirror ever. It is quite decent, to be honest. Like it's clean and it's like doesn't have all this kind of like overlay or things written all over it or something. But I just never use this palette for the mirror. Like I never reach for this one as a good one with a mirror, just because it is like a long shape and I kind of want to see a bit more of my face. But yeah, so really enjoyable palette, and I really like this so much, and that is why I purchased the next palette I'm about to show you. I haven't actually used this yet, but this is from the Balm. This is the Girls Getaway Trio. It has Balm Springs, Balm Beach, and Balm Desert inside. And it just looks like this. It's the same as the other palette, just like a little trio of three, but it has these matte shades inside instead. So I think these two I'd use as like neutral tone blushes, and then this one I would use as maybe even a bronzier shade. This is a really beautiful palette. The shades in here are just really nice neutral like skin tones. and I'm really excited to start using this palette. There's also some more palettes that the Balm has released that have more of the Manizer sisters, like more of their highlight range. Recently they came out, well, it's not that recent now, but they came out with a shade called Bonnie Luminizer, and I kind of wish I got that. I might get that in the future, just because usually I don't go for champagne-y highlights anymore. I go for more of a golden highlight, or like a golden champagne, just because I have yellow undertones in my skin and I feel like that's more flattering for me. And they have released like quad versions of this palette since, but yeah, I do enjoy this even though it's just the trio, but I'd like to try more of the shades they've come out with since. So those are my palettes from the Balm that are for the face. Now I'm going to go into Essence. So I have a few palettes from Essence and I really enjoy them all except for maybe this one I don't get as much use out of. I'll show you this one first. This is the Be Kissed by the Moon Iron Face palette, and it just looks like this, and it has a bunch of like shades that I would wear to like a music festival in my opinion. I don't really reach for like crazy toned highlights in my day-to-day life because I go for those like champagne and gold kind of highlight families when I'm going for a highlight, but the ones in here are like, there's a purple one, I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera, but I'll do a little dodgy swatch. There's a purple one which looks like this, which is really pretty, but it is purple, so like it's not something that I'm going to reach for every day. And then this one here is like, it's like a pinky peachy one. They're not really showing up really intensely on camera, but they're kind of lighter highlights, and they're not really ones that I reach for on the day-to-day, but they'd be really cute for a festival if I was going for like a really like cute pinky look or a cute purpley look. So yeah, they just look like that. And over here it has some like eye products that you can probably use as highlights as well. There's just like a couple of eyeshadows up there. I was reading the back of this the other day. I purchased this in Taiwan and I read the back and it said contains carmine, and I was like, ew. Carmine is like crushed bugs that they sometimes use as pigment in like products like that have red in them, so I'm guessing that maybe this has carmine in it. But yeah, one of the shades in here has carmine in it, and that's kind of gross to me, but yeah, I bought this in Taiwan and it is a really good palette. I really enjoy the like products that Essence makes in this like square rectangular kind of packaging. They've always been good to me. The next ones I have are these two face palettes, and they just are like little 3-pan palettes. I'll go into the highlighter one first. This is the highlighter palette, and it has, does that have a shade name? Yeah, it's shade 10, Ready Set Glow, and it just has 3 shades in here. This one is more of a like satin finish. It doesn't really have much shimmer through it, and it's a really nice setting shade. I would use that underneath the eyes or on the forehead, or maybe even over the whole face. It's just a really beautiful satin finish kind of setting shade. The next one is I can't remember which one's which. The next one is a highlighter, and this is more of a shimmery highlighter. It's not really intense, but it is a really nice, decent highlighter, and it looks really natural, and I enjoy wearing that one. And then the last one over here is one that I really like. It's kind of unique in my collection because I have a lot of highlights that are like a bit more intense. This one is like what I imagine to be like, I always hear Kathleen Lights talking about like not shimmery highlights that just give a glow, and this in my opinion just gives a glow. It's a really nice like sheeny formula that doesn't give like glitter, and you don't see like, oh, she's got highlight on. It just looks like your face powder is just glowing on you. So yeah, that's a really nice palette, and it's not like any of the other highlighters that I have in my collection, so I really enjoy having that. And then the last palette I have from Essence is the Shape Your Face contouring palette, and this is in the shade 10 Ready Set Peach. So it's got a peachy toned blush in it, and it's really beautiful. It's also got like kind of like a gold reflect through it, a little bit like the Orgasm blush from NARS, except it's not exactly the same kind of shade. But yeah, it's just a really pretty gold reflecty peachy shade. This shade in the middle here is kind of like, they say on the back of the like container that you can use it to like highlight the high points of your face, but this doesn't have any shimmer in it. Like this is entirely matte, so I use this as like an all over setting shade. It's kind of similar to my skin tone, or at least under my eyes and stuff, so I use this as like to set my under eyes or maybe like all over my face. It's just a setting powder to me, so yeah, that's what I use it for. And then the shade over here is a bronzer, and this bronzer is really nice. I don't find it pulls any weird undertones on my skin, and yeah, it's just a good bronzer. So yeah, I really enjoy the face palette from Essence, and I think they have some other shades as well. I think they might have a pinky one. Mine's the peachy one, but I think there is a pinky one as well. I also have from e.l.f. Cosmetics the contouring blush and bronzing powder in the shade St. Lucia, and it just looks like this. It's just a kind of bronzing, sorry, I'll get rid of the mirror. It's just a blush on top and then a bronzer over here, and it's supposed to be dupes of the NARS Orgasm and Laguna duo. I do like both of these shades, but I do find sometimes the bronzer skips. but that just might be how I'm using it. I need to give it another go because it's been a while since I tried it out because I've been trying to pan some other products, but I do really like the shades they picked for these two colors. And yeah, it's a really good little affordable duo. Then the last palette I have to show today is the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. Not Natural Eyes, it's the face palettes. This is the natural face palette and it just looks like this. I haven't used it yet because sometimes when I buy a product, I don't use it immediately and I just stare at it for a while before I like dig into it and make it look ugly forever. Because like a lot of my products, like I'll show you this Too Faced bronzer, it just looks busted now. So like when I have a product, sometimes I just leave it all beautiful and shiny and new before I dig into the products. But the palette just looks like this. It's got a gorgeous mirror. This mirror is so decent. You can see your whole face in it. I don't have to like zoom into myself. I can just see my whole face from a distance. It's amazing. And then the shades down here are really, really nice. I haven't used them yet, but I have swatched them in store, which is why I bought the palette. They just look like this. There's a beautiful like blush shade called Pink Wink. Then there's this shade here called Starlight. This shade up here is called Satin Sheets. And then there are 3 bronzer shades. One of them is called Sunny Honey, which is kind of like a warmer tone one. And then this is more of a pinkier bronzer, if that makes sense. It's called Pink Sand. I haven't gone for a like pinkier toned bronzer before, so I'm really excited to try that one out. And then this one here is called Tropic Like It's Hot, and it's just like another bronzer shade. I'm really excited to get into this palette. Also, I really like the ratio of shades in here. I find that I don't go through a load of blush, so I like that there's only one blush, whereas I go through loads and loads of bronzer, so I like how there are 3 bronzers, and then I go through a fair bit of highlight as well, so I like that there are 2 highlights. I think the ratio, like proportion of how much there is of each powder to each other is like really well thought out in this palette, and I'm really excited to use it. Also, this palette smells divine. It smells like coconut. Oh, it's so nice. I didn't have any interest in the old version of the Too Faced Natural Face palette just because like the packaging wasn't like wow to me, and it like didn't have any like special Too Faced scents. I really like when Too Faced puts scents in their products. I find it's like really enjoyable. I love the smell of face products and lip products. I love scented lip products. But yeah, this was definitely a lot more interesting to me when they re-released it in the new packaging and with a new formula. So yeah, that is my entire collection of face palettes. I really enjoy my collection so far. I don't think I have that many like face palettes on my wish list or that I want to get rid of, but I will be putting one of these in my project pan just because one of the Essence ones I'd like to get a little bit more use out of. But for the whole, I really enjoy my face palette collection. I also want to give a special shout out to like a palette that's not really a face palette but I use for highlight. The Too Faced Chocolate Bar palettes, a lot of them have like these larger shades in there, so one like larger highlight that's like a shimmery one, and then it'll have like a larger matte shade, and I a lot of the time use these larger highlights in the palette, not only on my like inner corner and brow bone or on the eyes, but also as highlights. So I'll just dip my entire brush into that like larger pan here and use that as a highlight as well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my Too Faced chocolate bars. I have all of the Too Faced chocolate bars. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I also do enjoy using those shades in the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes as highlights as well. But yeah, that is all of the face palettes that are in my collection. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment anything you'd like to see from me in future down below, subscribe to see more content from me. I upload very, very frequently. Also, if you'd like to see the makeup look that I'm wearing on my face right now, I'll link it in the description box down below. I just filmed a tutorial on it and it should be up on my channel by the time that this video goes up. And hopefully I'll see you in a future video soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!